Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. Hope all of you are doing well, preparing well for the upcoming prelims examination. This is a video session on daily news and editorial analysis dated 10th of January. Through this video session, I'll be discussing the important news and editorial that would be relevant for civil services examination, state public service commission examination, and various one-day competitive examination conducted across India. Through this video session, we'll see the important news that is precisely relevant for examination. And before I begin, I would just like to highlight about CSC 2024. That examination is scheduled at 26th of May 2024. I think most of you who will be appearing for the upcoming prelims examination would be adequately practicing the good number of MCQs. If you want to practice more quality questions, we are there with you to help you out. We have a Nishya All India Test Series program that has 4900 plus questions. Along with that, video discussion, demo test, and free magazines for content enrichment. For instant registration, you can use this QR code. For further details, you can check our website as well. Now, starting with the news highlights of the day, the first important news is about the giant radio telescope, which India has recently joined, something very important that will set a leap forward for India. Second important news talks about the 50 year of Project Tiger, what has been the journey and how the Forest Right Act is there, the inception took place. We'll see the detail to that as well. The third important news talks about the RTI reply, which talks about the web blocking, how much web blogging was there in the recent time. Government has come up with the detail in the RTI reply filed by an RTI activist named as Kanaya. Now, the other important news is about the textile export market, which is, the demand is there on the weaker side. There's a sluggish growth that has been witnessed. We'll see the detail to that. And I'll be concluding the session with editorial that talks about a less ableistic politics, something that cater and even address the nuances and the part of differently abled in the Indian politics and the Indian election process. We'll see the detail to that. So let's get started with a detailed analysis of the news one by one. The first important news is about the Square Kilometer Array project. This is again something very much relevant for prelims examination. This is known as SKA project, right? So India has formally joined the Square Kilometer project, and internationally scientific collaborations that is working towards building the world largest radio telescope. So this will be the world largest radio telescope which will be there, right? Now something important, there's no big part of the project that is there. You can see the picture images over there. Are a lot of part of the telescope which is there, small telescopes which is spanning around the quite of kilometers, the square kilometer, and it has its own significance and relevance. We'll see detail to that as well. So India has approved a total of 1,250 crore rupees for this project, covering the funding contributions for the constructive phase. So ये amount approve करने के बाद India has finally begun to be the member and rectify the other terms and condition. Actually, India ने इस project में look at the part for the SK project. India has been the active member from its inception since 1990, contributing to the design and development of the telescope. Now, to attain a full membership, now India has become a full member of the part which is there for the SKA. Now, the status and access will enhance opportunities for India, and this must also ensure that countries who is a member must sign and ratify the international treaty along with the financial commitment. So, as a financial commitment, India has promised to make a substantial contribution of 1,250 crore rupees for this particular project. Now, Square Kilometer Array project की अगर बात करें, this project is a global initiative that aims to construct the world largest telescope project, and the square kilometer area with the collecting part, right? And the square kilometer area or array will be it will be not a single large telescope, but there are collections of other dishes and antennas which is operating. The name square kilometer comes from the original intent that aims to create 1 square kilometer in an effective area collecting the radio waves. So this is again important. It's not a single large part. Rather than there are multiple small part of telescope that is installed in the specific area as assigned. Now, member countries की अगर बात करें, organizations from 14 countries are actually the member. This include Australia, Canada, China, France, Germany, India, Italy, New Zealand, Spain, South Africa, Sweden, Switzerland, the Netherlands, and United Kingdom. If you're able to recall, well and good. But आपको सिर्फ ये पता होना चाहिए India is a member or not. India is a member. So this can be a pretty relevant question for the prelims examination. Now, India joined the Square Kilometer area as a full member, and its commitment to yet another cutting edge part of the international endeavor which Indian scientists is actually making towards the part of astrophysics and other establishment and development. In addition to that, India is actively engaged in other major projects. उसके अलावा अगर लीगो नेटवर्क की बात करें, this is something very important. No, and even India is also making a substantial contribution in the large Adon corridor, the corridor which is there. This is known as LHC. तो ये भी वर्ल्ड की सबसे बड़ी प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं regarding that other atoms and other part of the proton particles which is there. तो ये कुछ ऐसे इंपॉर्टेंट प्रोजेक्ट हैं जहां इंडिया ने अपनी सब्सटैंशियल कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशंस दी है, ensuring that the part of the scientific fraternity is actually being benefited to a larger extent. नाउ क्या एडवांटेजेस होंगे इंडिया के लिए अगर इसके फैसिलिटीज की बात करें, which would be located, I mean as of now, none of the SK facilities is located in India. The immense scientist, the part of the gains that will be there, that India has gained a full time member. उसके अलावा मेंबरशिप के साथ क्या क्या बेनिफिट्स मिलेंगी? As a full time member, India would have a preferential access to SK facilities. जो SK की फैसिलिटीज होंगी एज अ प्रेफरेंशियल मेंबर्स इंडिया को दी जाएंगी. And this will work on the highest technology, including electronics, software, material science, and computing. So these are the four important broad area. Apart from the electronics, softwares, then we have material science and the computing part, which will be taken into consideration. Even the intellectual property which is generated through this project of the SK observatory would be accessible to the member country, and India will be able to access the part because India is a member, and even make a financial contribution of 1,250 crore rupees. Now this can offer a huge learning opportunities for the scientists, academia, and other private industries as well. Now moving ahead, 50 year of Project Tiger, something very important. I mean this particular year 2023, I mean the last year has marked 50 year of the project, right? So 2023 में 50 year of इस project को mark की गई है. We'll see the achievement that has been made, और इसके साथ साथ जो Forest Right Act की inceptions हुई थी, that is also important for both prelims and mains examinations. Now origin of Project Tiger की अगर बात करें, it actually started way back in 1972, जहाँ पे वाइल्ड लाइफ प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट में नोटिफिकेशंस की गई थी, एंड इवन द it was called as notified national park, where the forest dwellers were removed and vested with the state government. So power जो सारी थी वो रेस्ट करती थी स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के पास. In 1973, the Project Tiger was actually launched with a missions to ensure that the survival of endangered tiger, ऐसे टाइगर जो कि endangered है, उनकी प्रोटेक्शंस के लिए गवर्नमेंट ने ये रूल्स एप्लीकेबल किया, एंड टू प्रिजर्व द एरिया फॉर द बायोलॉजिकल इंपॉर्टेंस एंड नेशनल हेरिटेज. So this is the reason in 1973 precisely the whole sole implementation of the Wildlife Protection Act come into action. Now it also called for the creation of wildlife sanctuaries. अगर बात करें wildlife sanctuaries की, writing in short. So wildlife sanctuaries were something that was permitted with the right to be exercised, और Project Tiger के इसकी डेवलपमेंट में एक बहुत अहम भूमिका इसमें रही. Now the 9 tiger reserve were there, so 1973, which was about 9,115 kilometers, and as of now we have 54 part of the tiger reserve which is there, and is spanning around 18 states. कुछ 18 states ऐसे हैं जहाँ पे tiger reserves हैं with a total area of 78,135.956 kilometer. अगर आप approximate number भी याद कर पाएं 78,000 किलोमीटर, that would be something sufficient for you, right? Now as of the 2022 part, the camera trap methods के through ये बताया गया है that a total of 3,925 is total number of tiger that is present in the country as of now. Now the change in the operation has been there since the government has come up with the Wildlife Protection Act. उसके बाद कई ऐसे changes हैं जो कि adopt किए गए. 2005 में एक टास्क फोर्स बनाई गई थी, जिस टास्क फोर्स ने स्पेसिफिकली जो नंबर ऑफ डिक्लाइन इन द टाइगर वर विटनेस, they were actually concerned about that and how we can overcome to that was the main part of the concern. The task force concluded that the traditional method like guns, guard, and fences were ineffective in controlling the overall measures. They also highlighted that escalating the conflict between the wildlife and authorities has also led to the part of potential disaster in the wildlife part of the areas. And in September 2006 parliamentary amendment के थ्रू जो वाइल्ड लाइफ प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट है उसके बाद नेशनल टाइगर कंजर्वेशन अथॉरिटी एन एपेक्स बॉडी फॉर द कंजर्वेशन ऑफ द पार्ट स्पेसिफिकली टाइगर कंजर्वेशन में भी इनकी काफी अहम रोल है एंड दे हैव आल्सो कम अप विद द tiger conservation plan. So this is how the background is, the inception of national tiger conservation authority come into action. Now उसके बाद फॉरेस्ट राइट एक्ट के लिए भी जानना जरूरी है. Here the things become important and connecting. The government has enacted the Scheduled Tribe and Other Traditional Dwellers Forest Dwellers Act or the Recognitions of Forest Right Act जिसे FRA भी कहते हैं. This is commonly known as FRA Act. And FRA recognized the customary and traditional forest right on the forest land, including the tiger reserve as well. इसके अंदर जो ग्राम सभा होती हैं दैट इज द हैबिटेड ग्राम सभा विद अ डेमोक्रेटिकली डिटरमाइंड एंड डिमार्केट द फॉरेस्ट राइट विल बी रिकॉग्नाइज्ड एज द फॉरेस्ट राइट एक्ट. उसके पास वाइड पावर है. जो ग्राम सभा है दे हैव गिवन द वाइड पावर एंड इवन द पार्ट ऑफ द प्रैक्टिकलिटी द ट्रांसपेरेंटी हैज आल्सो बीन मेंटेन्ड. The Gram Sabha has become the authority to protect and manage the forest, wildlife, biodiversity within the customary, traditional and the traditional boundaries. Importantly, FRA की अगर बात करें, the Forest Right Act introduced the critical wildlife habitat as well. Now moving ahead, rapid rise in the web blocking order, something again important. Website blocking orders की अगर बात करें, over 100 times it has been seen that the blocking order was actually passed. This was the information which was released through the RTI application which was filed by the activist Kanhaiya Kumar, right? Now we'll see the details surge in the blocking. कितने number of cases हैं जो बढ़े हैं, क्या number of cases में surge आई है. 2013 में ये देखा गया that the government has issued 62 blocking orders, right, under the section 69A, which government is actually empowered under the IT Act. और October 2, 2023 में this number has given a toll up to 6,954. So it is close to the part of number of the time that has been increased. Additionally, डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ टेलीकम्युनिकेशंस ने ISP इन दिसंबर और कंपाइल किया है कुछ अलग अलग IP और सर्वर एड्रेस को जो कि एक्सपेडिटली ब्लॉक की गई हैं विद द सुपरविजन ऑफ द वेरियस डिपार्टमेंट एंड इवन ऑन द एडवाइस ऑफ द यूनियन गवर्नमेंट. Now, fall in the data prices. अगर बात करें data prices की, India is a country where data is considered to be on a cheaper side. So the surge in the blocking cases has also been coincided with the internet uses, particularly the sharp drop in the mobile data prices since 2016. और data indications की अगर बात करें, order was sent to the social media and consent companies. Even specific package profiles and videos were given to the companies to ensure that any content which even call for the violation of national security या फिर इंडिया की जो sovereignty उसको खतरा पहुंचाती है उस तरह के कंटेंट को ब्लॉक करने की बात की. In 2022, the government said that 228 websites were blocked in response to the parliamentary query. Or Section 69A of the IT Act, again a very powerful act, which is again, there's some changes by the Telecommunication Act 2023. If you have not watched the part of the PRS video, do check it out. वहाँ पे मैंने discuss किया है और भी कई ऐसे initiatives हैं. In the daily news editorial analysis, I have made a discussion to that. So do check it out. 69 of the IT Act allow करती है यूनियन गवर्नमेंट को कि इंडिया की सोवरेनिटी, इंटीग्रिटी, डिफेंस, सिक्योरिटी ऑफ स्टेट या फ्रेंडली स्टेट फॉरेन कंट्रीज में जो रिलेशंस हैं उसको अगर किसी तरह से इम्पैक्ट पहुंचती है तो उस तरह के कंटेंट को, ऑनलाइन मटेरियल को दे विल बी ब्लॉकिंग अंडर द सेक्शन 69 ऑफ द IT Act. Now moving ahead, India seeks new textile export market. Amid the demand which we have seen, there is a sluggish demand in the Europe and US. India is looking with the new market through the FTA, that is Free Trade Agreement. And the countries that India is exploring is Australia and United Arab Emirates. With Australia, we have a cordial relation. और UAE की बात करें, रिसेंट टाइम में UAE के साथ इंडिया की जो रिलेशन है वो काफ़ी ज़्यादा डिपेंड हुई है और वेरियस सेक्टर्स और डोमेन्स में एक्सपर्टीज एंड इवन द पार्ट ऑफ द MOU has been signed between India and UAE as well. Now moving ahead, there's a sluggish demand. The center is taking step to address the lack of demand which is there from the uncontrolled import in the textile sector. It is witnessing the part of the decremental growth. And the newspaper Hindu has recently reported that The problem is due to the lack of demand and unregulated import which is there in the country. The demand for Indian textile has declined, specifically in United States and the European Union market as well. The quality of the quality check, or you can say the QC, which is there for quality material, which ensured the quality product, that would curb the import on the substandard product. अगर इंडिया की बात करें, इंडिया में टेक्सटाइल बहुत ज़्यादा बांग्लादेश से भी import की जाती है, right? So we are making an import from Bangladesh as well and even for other countries. But जो इंडिया की खास करके अगर import की बात करें, जो export भी sectors है, that is not much. I mean, that is witnessing a sluggish growth. Now, exporting the new market, India is actually looking forward to explore more market. The center is exploring the new market by strengthening the existing market of the textile. FTA, if you look at the free trade agreements, which is there between UK and some Western countries, we have been negotiating. जहाँ पे टारगेट ये की गई है कि 100 बिलियन तक की एक्सपोर्ट बढ़ाया जाए बाय 2030. So this is an important fact. Government has planned $100 billion by 2030. Now, कुछ important schemes हैं like PM Mitra scheme, which is there. We have the other schemes like PLI, that is Production Link Incentive Scheme, जो कि particular textile sector को flourish करने के लिए भी they are making their substantial contributions. Now, moving ahead with the editorial for the day, a less ableist politics, something again important that specifically cater with the part of financial inclusion and even call for more holistic development of the person with disability. We'll see the detail to that, what are the advisory that is given by the Election Commission और उसमें किस तरह से और ज़्यादा सुधार की ज़रूरत है. So, I mean, looking at the issues that I'll be discussing, first we'll see the background, then we'll see the need of effective strategy and we'll conclude that part. तो इस effective strategy में कुछ 4 से 5 important strategies, 4 strategies are there that I'll be discussing in detail. Now, moving ahead, December 21st, the Election Commission of India has actually issued a guideline to the political parties और उन्होंने urge किया था कि जो parties हैं वो adopt करे, जो disabled sensitive language है उनको वो adopt करे, so that it create a part of sense, a part of belongingness to the differently abled community as well. There were 11 guidelines that was issued on 3 main areas. First, called for the inclusive communication. Second was for the inclusive accessibility, and third were for the inclusive within the party structure. So ये 3 ऐसे mandate थे. There were 3 important mandates that were actually discussed where the Election Commission has come up with a specific guideline. Now, communications guideline की अगर बात करें, this discourage with the use of derogatory terms, stereotyping, and even the person with disabilities. Now, accessible guidelines में emphasize की गई है that the party website and other part of the accessibility must be taken into considerations. Now, need for effective strategy. This is what there have been 4 strategy that has been discussed, right? So there are 4. First, I mean, starting with the first one, it called for some guideline to be considered on the part of disable inclusive communications, और ये mandatory है language like should and shall must be used. However, the guideline also state that the political parties are still using the discriminatory term may, और ये may ऐसी term है जो कि whether or not whether inclusion will be there or positive or negative, दोनों terms को include करती है and even more towards the negative part. But there's need for a consistent mandate across the 3 categories which I have discussed in that 11 categories broadly. These are the 3 categories which you can check here again. So this one, these are the 3 categories. Now, second part with the regulation is the guideline on disable inclusive communication yet to be incorporated within the model code of conduct. इसे MCC के अंदर भी लाने की जरूरत है, so that any derogatory part of the speech should also not be given for the differently abled community. And breaching this guideline may subject to the political parties member action under the 92 Act of the Representation of the People Act and even other act which is there, और ये person with disability acts के again भी violations. Third part is the guideline that certainly call for the ambiguity in certain phases, जहाँ पे blind, deaf और dumb जैसे जो words है ये wrong terminology है, इनको replace कर देने की जरूरत है with visual, hearing and speech disability, right? The Election Commission of India, they have the sole authority to delist the part of disabled sensitive languages, which is also provided by the UN Disability Inclusion Strategy. So जो global standard है, the global standard must be taken into consideration by the Election Commission of India. Now, fourth, the draft national policy on the disability must lack the proper inclusion contrary to that of the advisory which is given. और ये एम्फेसाइज करेगी कि जो इंडिया की पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज है वो एक्टिवली जो जो खास करके PWD जो है कम्युनिटीज उनको अधर करें एंड दे कैन also ensure that they are working towards the accessibility norm as well. Now, to align with Article 29 of the part, जहाँ पे UN Convention of Right of Person with Disability also recommend incorporating a chapter on the political inclusions, national political to catalyze the PWD participations in the politics as well. Now, to conclude the fact, I mean, the conclusion is that currently there's no data with the election commissions that how many legislators belong to the part of disabled community and even nominations कितनी होती है, कितनी affidavits file की जाती हैं, क्या details है. We do not have such data available at our, I mean, reachable. It might be there with the election commission, but it's not even in the public domain. The absence of this information has generally contributed to the political exclusion of person with disability, right? And it is anticipated that the election commission of India hai, they need to rectify by incorporating the disabled column by 2024 elections, making it crucial one step towards the political inclusion of the PWD. तो इस तरह के जो disability के columns हैं उनको हटा के और कुछ दूसरे part of the part of the data can be incorporated, which will ensure more political inclusion of the physical the person with a disability that will be taken into considerations. Moving ahead with the answers discussion for the yesterday questions. For first, the correct option is B. इस particular questions में option जो B है वो correct है. यहाँ पे question पूछी गई थी आपसे खास करके dynamic asset allocations को लेकर के. Make sure you read the complete explanation to get a proper idea. For second question, the correct option is A. Here the option A is correct. That is about the National Real Estate Development Council. So option 1 जो है वो correct है. Option 2 is not correct. So do read out the part of the detailed explanation from here. Moving ahead with the MCQ questions for the day. The first question is about the spongy. The living organism is compounded for the cell and loosely arranged. This is the first statement. The second, that it serves as a habitat for numerous other animal, plant, microorganism engaging in the mutual symbiotic relationship. And the contracted seaweed exhibit the impressive resilience in the face of climate change. So to participate in question answer, simply write question number 1 followed by your correct option, and you can drop down your answer in the comment section down below. So the second question is about the respect to the camptothecin. CPT इसे कहते हैं. It's a anti-cancer drug that has major produced in the South Asian countries or the region. It produced using the nanthavodized niacinamide is a non-invasive plant. So this type of question is pretty relevant for prelims examination. Although पार्टिसिपेशन के लिए क्वेश्चन नंबर 2 लिखें, उसके बाद जो आपकी करेक्ट ऑप्शन है वो कमेंट सेक्शन में जरूर बताएं. डू इंश्योर दैट यू आर मेकिंग योर पार्टिसिपेशन इन द क्वेश्चन आंसर एज वेल. सो दिस वाज ऑल अबाउट फॉर द डेली न्यूज एंड एडिटोरियल एनालिसिस followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other concern about test series, admission and other programs, you can reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being stayed.